Hello students, in this topic we will learn about heredity and evolution. So to know about evolution and heredity, we need to understand the genes and our ancestors. So let's know about what is heredity. Heredity, we would be always talking about heredity and its characters or traits. So heredity is the representation of the carrying of genes from generations to generations or from the parents to the offsprings. So let's understand more about heredity in detail in this topic. So what is heredity? It is the transfer of any characteristics or traits from the parents to the offsprings. Means the parents, the mother or the father, both the characters will be interlinked with the offsprings. So any of the characters that is related to the parents get carried to the next generation or the next child. It is called as heredity. So we will know about it once again. It is the transfer of characters or traits from the parents. So characters like your behavior, your way of speaking, or the way you talk or walk or etc., or even related to your eyes, the color of your eyes, etc., will relate to the parental characteristics, and it gets passed on to their offsprings. That is known as heredity. So next comes the definition about variations. So what is variation? Variations means it is not similar. So if it is not similar, then we can come to know that there are different characters or traits in a single species. So let's take example of humans itself. Are we humans the same? Does our face look the same? So if it was same, then what would have happened? We would not be able to even identify each one of us. So that is called as variation. So example, we can take one more example as the eyes. So take example of mother and a father. Father has black eyes, mother has blue eyes. So what happens is their black eyes or the blue eyes, whichever becomes dominant in nature, that gets carried over to the next offspring or the child. So what is here happening is, if the child gets the blue eyes, the first child might get the blue eyes. It might not have been the similar with the second child. Second child's eye color might go with its parent or the father or even the forefathers. It can be either black or blue. That is known as variations. So let's understand about it again. It is the differences between the characters or traits among the individuals of same species, not different species. We are talking about same species are called as variations. So we'll go to the next slide now. So in this figure we can see that you can see a lot of children here. Are they similar? Do they look alike? No, they do not look alike, because it is of the similar parents also. There might be differences in the genes or the genetic characters, or they can be of different parental offsprings. So here we can see that the pups or the dogs, you can see here that it is also different from one another. And you can see the leaf patterns of the single species also differs because of variations. So you have seen different types of grapes and its colors. The color of the grapes are green. You can see the red and purple color. So this is also due to the variations or variable characteristics or traits that have been carried over from the past generation to the offsprings. So here it's an example of insect or the beetle. So you can see here. So dominant traits are of almost brown, nearing to brown in color. There is a recessive character, that was suppressed gene, that have one or two beetles have green in color, that we can see in the later part of the topic. So we have understood what is variation with the help of these pictures now. So next. So we will understand now what is accumulation of variations during reproduction. So the accumulation of variations during reproduction, whereas organisms reproduce, when organisms reproduce, what happens is the genes or the DNA starts copying to the newborns. So what happens there is some of the characters might misplace or some of the characters might get added on from the previous generation. So that is when organisms reproduce, the offsprings show minor variations. Why? Because it is due to the inaccuracies in the DNA copying. So exactly the same DNA copying doesn't happen from the parents to the offspring. So these variations are less seen in asexual reproduction like binary fission, spore formation, etc. But it can be commonly seen, that is the variation can be commonly seen in sexual reproduction. For example, you can take some plants, say a hibiscus plant. So flowering you might have seen flowering might be different, but you can see the pattern is the same. So there is no much variation when you compare with the reproductive species when compared to the asexual reproductive species. So we'll go to the next slide. So why variations are useful? We should understand that some of the variations are useful here because they help the organisms. So certain organisms will need to adjust to different environments. Say you can see that some of the organisms will not be able to survive in the extreme cold or hot temperatures. So when next offspring comes, you can see the climate changes happening nowadays. So the species need to adapt themselves to the environment. So certain or small changes in the DNA copying or variation is necessary for that organism to survive. Or else what happens? So if some variations do not help the organism. Why? Because to adjust to changes to environment. So when there are certain changes happening with respect to variations, that particular species might not be able to adapt to that particular environment. If it is not able to adapt to the particular environment, there are chances that that particular organism will die. So example is like polar bears, beetles and grasshoppers. So you can see that they can survive in certain conditions or climatic regions, and when they are, so you can see example polar bears, if they have left from the Arctic region to the desert, we cannot even imagine that they will survive, because if variations happen, they are not able to survive in such conditions. So next, let's understand the rules of inheritance of characters. So how the characters or traits or the genes are getting carried over from one generation to another or from parents to the offsprings. So we will see that one by one. Characters are transferred through the genes present in the DNA. So let me tell you once that you might have studied about the cell. So cell contains a prominent nucleus. What does the nucleus contain? Nucleus contains chromosomes in it. Chromosomes contain the DNA or the deoxyribonucleic acid, and deoxyribonucleic acid contains the genes. So these genes are the characters or traits that needs to be transferred from one generation to another. So you can see here that the DNA molecules in the chromosome present in the nucleus of a cell that can transfer certain characters from one organism to the next offspring. It's not from organism to organism, from the same organism, from the parents to the offspring. So next is the inheritance of characters is due to both the father and the mother's contributions. So you can say that genes get carried over from the father and the mother. Both carry the genes specific, and some of the traits of the next offspring might have the characters of the father and also have the character of the mother. So it contributes equal amount of genetic material in the child. So what happens is the next offspring, the child will have both the genetic content from the father and the mother. So here you can see that each trait, there are two factors, that is one from the father and one from the mother. So let's start understanding now So who made it clearly understandable about the genetics or the traits or characteristics and variations in the species. So it was by the scientist Gregor John Mendel. So what did he do? It was very easy for him to conduct the experiments with garden pea. Why? Because garden pea showed many different characteristics and traits like tallness, dwarfness, then the color of the pods, then outer appearances and inner appearances. You have the flowers are purple and white. So there were lot of variations where he could do permutations and combinations and find out how these genes worked on it. And also the pea plant was able, because he used pea plant for his experiment, because pea plant was easily able to mature in a very short period of time. Otherwise, if you take some tree, mango tree or so, he should have waited for almost 10 or 5 years. So that's a waste of time of studying the genetic part of an organism. So let's understand here, Gregor John Mendel conducted experiments with garden pea plants and determined the rules. He determined the rules how the characters were inherited from the parents to the offsprings. So as I told before, you can see that the cell consists of a nucleus. Nucleus consists of the chromosomes, and inside the chromosomes are the genetic material, that is the DNA. This DNA consists of the genetic material. So let's understand Mendel's work. So Gregor John Mendel, he is known as father of genetics. So Gregor John Mendel is known as the father of genetics. Actually, he was an Austrian monk who worked on pea plants to understand the concept of heredity. So you can see that he was a monk and he had lot of plant species. He had lot of collections of plant species. So in that he found out that garden pea was faster in growing and also it had different traits. So based on that, he started his work on heredity, the concept of heredity. So he laid the foundation of modern genetics. So what did he do? He proposed 3 different laws, that is law of dominance. As we told previously, that law of dominance is whichever is dominant gene present in either father or mother, that will be characterized into the next offspring. Then next comes the law of segregation. Segregation is based on the proper multiplication and permutations and combinations with respect to the traits of particular species. Then comes the law of independent assortment. So we will know about it one by one in the next coming sessions. So let's understand now about dominant traits. What is dominancy? Dominancy is, as usual we say, so the person is very dominant. So what do you say? That he is superior or she is superior to everyone. In the same way, here also we can see that expression of characters is superior and inferior. So whichever is superior, that will take the character of the next offspring. So you can see that tallness and dwarfness. For example, we can say father or mother, whoever is tall, and one of the person is dwarf. So you can say that even father or mother or the previous generation, they might have been dwarf and tall members. So whichever has become dominant in that, the offspring might be mostly tall in nature. So you can see here that the traits that express themselves in an organism, in every possible way, of that is combination, can be seen or called as dominant. So you can see here for an example as, see, mother has red hair, it's light, that is light colored eyes. So there are 2 different characteristics, that is red hair and light colored eyes. What does father has here? Father has brown hair, dark eyes and a big nose. So what happens in the next offspring, or the child gets brown hair and a big nose. Why it is? Because this brown hair and big nose is dominant with respect to the dark eyes, red hair and light colored eyes. So coming to the next trait, that is recessive trait. Recessive, as I told, so one is dominant, the other is recessive. Recessive means non-expressive in nature. So here we can see that a trait which is not expressed, which will never be expressed when a dominant gene is already present. So it is known as recessive. So I'll take an example. The father has dominant brown. So it is itself saying that dominant brown color of the eyes, and mom has recessive blue. Why recessive blue? Mom might have recessive blue eyes because her ancestors, any one of the person might have had blue eyes, but most of them might have had brown eyes in the dad's ancestral lineage. So you can see here that whatever has become dominant is brown. So what happens to the next offspring or the child is that child will have brown displayed. What does that mean? That both the genes will be present in this child, but only the brown which is dominant with respect to father will become dominant here. That is, child will get brown eyes. Blue eyes or blue color will remain as a gene inside the child. It might become expressive in the next generation. So that's all about this video. We will continue about Gregor John Mendel's experimental work with respect to pea plant in the next set of video. Thanks for watching.